Alright guys, what's going on? So I've got my week 2 war stats for you. And so the first half of the season is over. Actually a little bit more because the 7th war here doesn't count, so just you can ignore these numbers, they all remain the same. So yeah, basically this is I explained it better in the first video, in the first week's video, but I'll try to go over it just really quickly here in the second one. Basically, 4Loki has like an in-house system to determine how well individuals and the Alliance are performing in Alliance War. So it's based off of a few different categories. I don't have them all listed here because not all of them would make a ton of sense. But basically, we've got kills here, self-explanatory, deaths, solo rate, which is obviously figured out by your kills and death ratio, your ADR, which is adjusted difficulty rating. It's basically you get points for each node based on how many times you enter a fight. Your true difficulty rating is basically your adjusted difficulty rating minus any duplicates. So for example, you can see here that in my first war I had 0 deaths, so my ADR and TDR were the same. But in my second war I had 1 death. So because of that, my ADR is higher than my TDR. And all of these numbers are cumulative, so for as long as I remain at 1 death, my ADR will always be above my TDR by the same amount. And the average node value, you can find that in TDR per fight. So right now for the Alliance, it's 1.21. So this is just like every fight that I complete, I'm getting, you know, like a little bit over 1 point in difficulty rating. And then my power rating, this is basically what determines your placement in the Alliance in like this little competition or whatever you might want to call it. And this is your power rating. This is your score for the whole thing. It's all the numbers put into an algorithm. It also includes like your solo rate. You get a bonus for your solo rate. And then this column over here is going to be true difficulty rating per fight. So that's basically going to be my true difficulty rating, I'm guessing, divided by the number of fights I've taken. And then this is going to be, this last column in green is going to be where I place in my battle group and in the Alliance. So, okay. First week here, just a quick recap. I started out really strong. I finished week 1 second in my battle group, second in the Alliance, and with a pretty high solo rate. And so for week 2, we face New Nation, TN3M, and an alliance called Old Driver. And you can see here that for the week, I did not die again. I still just have the 1 death that's carried over from War 2. So my solo rate, because of that, has been going up. My ADR and TDR continue to go up based on the fights that I'm completing. And my power rating will also continue to go up for every fight that I complete. It'll never go down. So I guess the difference, I guess we'll just see how I end the week versus how I ended last week. My true difficulty rating per fight has gone down by 0.01, so not very much at all. But if you look down here to where I averaged all of the Alliance scores together, most of my stats are a little bit above the Alliance average in each of these categories, except for TDR per fight, which basically just means I'm taking easier fights than other people in the Alliance. And the way that difficulty is determined for this system is based on how many times our Alliance dies to a specific node. So basically, I'm taking fights that just aren't died to very often. So by our standards, they would be considered easier, but it's different for every alliance. If you have a node that you die too regularly or your alliance dies too regularly, and you were doing the same system, that same node would be worth more points. But for me, I'm just taking easier lanes. You can also see the difference between last week and this week. In week 1, I had 20 fights, and in week 2, I only had 13. So I'm not getting as many fights. And the reason for that, if you go over to this final green column over here, and you see that right now I'm 5th in my battle group, and I'm also 5th in the alliance for power rating with my score of 43.68. So what that should tell you, what that tells me, is that our battle group 3, has 5 of the people. It's not that it's like the most skilled players, even though everyone in my battle group is very skilled. The thing that's causing this is that we have a lot of competitive players who, a lot of them make war videos for YouTube. So if you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend doing that, especially with the new maps. They all are taking different lanes and offer different perspectives. But we have Legacy in my battle group, we have Dreamin' in my battle group, we have Dap in my battle group, and we have Bryn in my battle group. And all of them, with the exception of Bryn, upload their videos to YouTube. And those are the top 5 people in the alliance and in the battle group. So, and then also in my battle group is Taters, who's the battle group leader, and he also uploads all of his wars to YouTube, as I'm sure you guys know, and this is actually his power rating system. And then Enzo is also in our battle group, and he uploads his wars. And Pandaman Pete is also in my battle group, and he will be uploading his wars soon, I hope. I know he's working on that. So, yeah. And so for each war I update, we get like individual, we get all of our individual stats, and then we also get the alliance stats. So what I do for the alliance stats is I divide the number by 30 to get the average per person. So you can see here that some of my stats are pretty in line with the alliance. Like my ADR is actually a little bit lower. My TDR is within striking distance, it's within 1 point. But my power rating is a little bit higher. My true difficulty rating per fight is a little bit lower. And my deaths are a little bit lower. For the death column down here, this is the total number of deaths on the left that our alliance has had for the season. And then I just divide that number by 30 to figure out the like the average death per person. So the average right now with this new map, and I know this is quite a bit higher than it used to be on the old map, is 4.3 after our first 2 weeks. So that would be 4.3 deaths per person for the season, which, considering it's a new map, really is pretty good, pretty impressive. And then the solo rate, the average solo rate is 87.45, and you can see that that's actually what the, we had, I think we had a war that set us back a little bit, but you can see that it's still going up from our first war to now. Our solo rate's getting higher, which is a good thing. But yeah, so that's pretty much just my quick recap. If you guys have any questions about how power ratings work, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer it. But I do know that Taters, he has a YouTube channel, as I'm sure most of you guys know. He posted a video a while back about how to do this if you're interested in doing a system like this for your alliance. And I know that it's added like a new dimension of fun to what we do, because you can go up against other alliances and you might get outmatched, or you might lose, or you might win. But to have there be like a personal stake in your performance just makes the losses hurt less. It makes the victories a little bit more fun and enjoyable. So yeah, but he did post a video on how to set this up if you're interested. And I think that's it. So we're going to be one more down this season. War 7 got canceled. So next time that we do have an Alliance War, I'll go ahead and upload that one. And then I guess I'll have 2 more of these videos for the rest of the season. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.